Hey everyone, welcome to LBR Educates. Today we're going to be creating a gathered topiary that really explores the value of stems and just how much perceived value. So this is the design we're going to be creating. So it has an armature design in the middle that we're going to create with curly willow. It has a circular pattern that we're going to do placement of the flowers. So it has a negative space in through the middle. So we're able to kind of sell air, and who doesn't like to sell air? So we're gonna take a look at this. The first thing we're gonna do, this is the Irondale metal container, a little bit taller container. I'm starting with the Midnight Foam, and you can see that from Smithers Oasis. And I've tucked this in with some foam pieces on the side. That's how I lock my foam in rather than doing tape. And then I have some of the wet foam that I am just going to kind of crumble up into bigger pieces that resemble rocks. And so kind of a new way to do a basing technique and create stones like a textural finish that can be exposed mechanics. And so we'll just start with that there, and we can add a little bit more on the end if we want. But next we're going to come in with the curly willow, and these are curly willow tips. And I started with a higher container so I can get some tension in on it. And I have my branches. I'm going to recut them. And then I also cut a flat paddle there, so when I put it in, that it doesn't turn as I'm using that stem to create that armature. Going to come in, cut the stem, cut ourselves a paddle, and we're going to come in and with these, I have 5 stems, so it's a half a bunch of the curly willow tips. Then what we're going to use is our bind wire. So this is a natural bind wire. I've cut some pieces, folded them in half. I'm going to fold them half again. And then I'm going to come in, so I'm going to take this piece and bend it over and connect it to this upright. So that upright is still facing up. What I'm tying is tying this piece to the straight up stem here, and that's going to be the start of our armature. I do 3 twists and then cut it off and then fold that end into the inside. We go to the next piece and I come in, I take that top and bend it over and bring it to my next stem, and then my bind is going to be there. Piece, fold it over, come in and do that tie. 2, 3. So this is a form of exposed mechanics, and consistency is the key on exposed mechanics, that you have the same amount of twists that are, or same amount of material that is exposed. The reason I fold it over is I'll get a nice clean bind and then bypass it, twist it 1, 2, 3, and then clip, and then press it right into the back, fold it over there on itself. So you can see that's forming a great circle. In here, just looking at pieces. The flowers that we're going to be using today is a blend of textural mixes, and I've also taken into consideration the lasting quality of the flowers. I will have some chrysanthemums, I have some roses that people associate roses with value, and so I have the roses in there. We're going to add a couple of the High and Magic roses, and then but also some varieties of chrysanthemums, carnations now come in fabulous colors. And I'm gonna go back to Fabian and say he's a hashtag make carnations cool. And so I've always loved the beauty of carnations, and they come in such great colorations now that it's a great long-lasting piece. You can see our base of our armature. If you do need to do some adjusting right now, I kind of have a bigger space here. You can actually kind of pull it out and get a little bit more tension on it and put it back in. So it's easiest to make those adjustments right now. Then we look at our flowers, and you look at the flowers here, and you can see that they have kind of a lot of lines going on with the foliage. And we are gonna clean these up and change the personality of these flowers. Just gonna use my hands to clean off some of that foliage. I don't pop off the thorns or cut it with my knife, because it'll make a larger scar on the flower, and then it'll use its energy to heal itself. Now you look at those roses comparison to how the first two flowers looked. You eliminate a lot of those crossing lines and just clean up here. We're gonna clean up the carnations too, how they have those different flaring lines that are going different directions. The first thing we're gonna start off with, as I'm inserting materials, I'm gonna insert it one type at a kind, or one kind, one type at a kind. And I'm gonna come in with the hypericum, and you can see as I'm coming in, I'm taking a look at how that's gonna be inserted. And I'm always very concerned about the stem insertion length. And if you're less experienced, what I want you to do is pull that container to the edge of the table, and you can come in here. You want your target area to hit that stem is within the bottom inch of the container. So you can come in and pinch your finger so that you can see where that's gonna fall in the container. Come in, mark it with your finger, and then do the cut. So you can see I created or inserted the hypericum in a triangle pattern. And we're just gonna come in with these a little bit different heights. I've got a couple of those. This is the Red Kiss disc bud. And just coming in, kind of coming through our armature, doing some at a little bit different heights. But so I've got a square, then we've got a round pattern, and some of the flowers I'm putting in a triangle mixed to create interest throughout. I'm gonna take this and tuck that in a little bit. Might wanna tie that in. Next, we're gonna come in with our roses. And the roses are money flowers, and so you wanna make sure that they have a great place to be and also enough space to mature. You wanna give them a great space and area to create a real more of a dominant look. So you can see there the placement of those. I've got a couple of the purple button disc buds, and this kind of brings a color combination. If anybody knows me at all knows I'm kind of a purple queen, but so of course I love these purple button disc buds, and I use them as subs for dahlias as well. But so you can see we're just kind of coming back and forth, some on the inside of the grid and some on the outside. And next we'll come in with the with the alstroemeria. And this is the Xanadu, which brings you back to the disco days, Xanadu. But Xanadu Austro that we grow here in Minnesota at Lembush. And it's a great purple color. So you can see I'm designing on a turntable, and I like to do that to be able to see the color distribution that I have going on with my design. And as I'm adding the floral materials, I'm efficient with my insertions and able to see that color mix very easily. Kind of spin it around and see where you need that. Hold that carnation beside it off the edge of the table, and that'll allow you to be able to see where you need to make that cut. Here we're gonna just add more layers on this. So I'm adding buttons. I still want that upright presence there, but it's a great hole filler here that adds a great look into this design. And we know that it's going to be a really long lasting piece in it. So just thinking about those varieties of textures and sizes. Next element we're going to add in is green mist, and this just adds that fresh look and some of the little bit more expensive floral materials I'm going to put more toward the outside so that it is very visible in this design. And so it's intentional placement in it. And then I have some of the purple Veronica. It's just going to add that garden fresh look. Kind of helps to direct your eye right into the design there. And then our last floral material is going to be the millet in the purple color. And you can see the stems are a dark color as well as the seed part on this here. And so it's quite dominant in that darker color. So I'm adding that in one of my last elements, but you can see how that height adds additional perceived value. And just come in, just continue to reflect that circular pattern at a couple different heights there. So now here we have a great design, has a lot of levels, has that circular, has the void in through here, but the finishing touch really is going to be adding that layer of transparency. And so this is some long Plumosa, and I'm just gonna come in, catch it in my flowers there, and then come across and get it down in. I picked it up, so I gotta weave it back in there, just get that tip. And you'll notice too that I'm coming across to add a little bit more of a dynamic line within that, but you can see how just that light transparency layer adds that great touch to this design. So we're going to look at that, and this one here needs a little bit of tailoring, kind of coming off in the wrong direction, and adding possibly a little bit too much, kind of taking away from some of my transparency. So I'm going to just bring that one off and then just come in here and add one more piece, and that one's a little heavy too. So just doing some of that tailoring. You can save those pieces for your corsage work, but just to get those nice clean lines. So this is our garden gathered topiary, and you can see just a great look that you have, and then utilizing the basing techniques of the stones so you can have that exposed mechanics with those midnight foam. So I'm Sandy Schreck for Lembush Roses and LBR Educates. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, Give us a comment, tell us what you liked, ask some questions, share it, and subscribe. Click on our notification bell so that you get notified next time we're doing a video. Join us next time.